First of all, thanks to Michael for introducing me to Charles, and thank you, Charles, for having me at the talk. It's a pleasure to be here. So the idea is like the land that you build a house on. If the idea is strong, if the premise is strong, you can build a house that's not so good. So the house is the story. If the house is not so good, you tear down the house, you build another house. The idea is still there. The land is still there. But if the idea is not strong enough, however good a house you build on it is going to sink into the land. When your script is rock solid, the next step will be to attach two very important elements to your script, namely the lead cast or the filmmaker, which means the director. So it's only when a lead cast or a known director is attached that suddenly this project is coming alive, because then investors are willing to invest in it. So generally speaking, we need about $1 million to make a feature film with a good fighting chance or with a decent fighting chance. And $1 million budget film would need $3 to $4 million at the box office to break even. But a regular box office in Singapore is 300,000 to $500,000. So it's like 2 times less than your original budget. And so many companies, if they do not have something to back them up, like if they do not have a different business to back their film business up, they will make one film in Singapore, and then they suffer great losses, and they never recover from the losses, and they never make another film. So in my opinion, the problem here is that the Singapore content, the Singapore made content, let's talk about feature films. So the Singapore made content doesn't travel outside of Singapore and Chinese Malaysia. And that is the problem. I feel the key word is circles. So who are the closest people around you? To me, my career changed when my circles changed. I don't think it's about talent at the beginning. Talent is very, very important once you get the opportunity, because if you don't have the talent, the opportunity will be wasted. But then first of all, how do you get the opportunity? That will be your circles. So the first hurdle that you will have to probably overcome is the visa problem. And I always believe that, you know, I come from an average family in Singapore and in the suburbs of Singapore, so I do not have anything given to me for free at all. And in front of me, there's nobody that's taken this path, so I have no example to follow either. But I found my way there, right? And so can you. So the visa problem is always very daunting and very intimidating. But if that's where you really want to go, because that's the highest environment in the film world, and if you believe that that is the place, I believe that place, the environment can bring out your talent, like I've explained before. And if you believe that that is the place that you want to go to realize your fullest potential, then the visa problem, step by step, you'll be able to solve it. You'll find your way. One of the best advice I've ever heard, and it came from someone that I call my mentor. He's an 80-something-year-old British director. He's one of my best friends in the world. And when I was down and out, you know, when I was like waiting for my visa in America, and I was spending 1.5 years just every day worrying about not getting the visa. And he told me, he said that things are going to work out because you want it to. The moment you stop wanting it to work out, it will definitely not work out, because what you're trying to do is very difficult. But it will work out if you keep pushing at it, if you keep moving forward. To know what you want to do at a very early age. I knew clearly what I wanted to do at about 21. To be able to do what you love doing and still be able to make a living. And if you do it at a high enough level, actually you can make a very good living. It's a wonderful life. When I embark on the journey of writing a script, I usually give myself, I set aside 3 hours almost every day, if not 5 times a week or majority of the week. I would definitely set aside 3 hours to write the script. To me, writing a script is not about inspiration. It is about discipline. So I set aside 3 hours. I sit in front of my computer. I turn off the internet if I can. I definitely do not reply messages. I don't look at social media. Social media is your biggest enemy when you're trying to write a script. And you're wasting your time on social media when you're trying to write a script. And you feel lousy about it. And then you feel lousier and lousier each time you do that. So I set aside three hours a day. I don't care about anything else. And I just write the script. On a good day, I might write 10 pages. And on a bad day, I might write 2 sentences. But for me, the key thing is I must write something, because if I stop today, it will be more likely for me to also not do it tomorrow. And then this goes on for 1 week, and this is procrastination. So procrastination is the writer's biggest enemy. And to me, the way to combat that is to really be disciplined. You know, it's like a job. You cannot not turn up, and you have to be writing, and you have to write something. Even if you write nonsense, just write it, so that the momentum gets kept up. You keep the ball in the air. But for me, when I have the outline there and I set aside my 3 hours a day, I do not face writer's block. I just face good days and bad days. And I bulldoze through my bad days by just following what I have on the outline. So when I write a scene based on what I have on the outline, even though I don't feel like it, then the scene is sort of very dry. It doesn't have juice, it's not nuanced, but that's okay, because later on I come back to it. On my rewrite, I will come back to this part again anyway. But at least I write like 2 pages of very dry dialogue and events. At least at the end of the day, I still feel I've done something. And then tomorrow, I will keep the momentum up. To me, that's the most important. And I feel, you know, as filmmakers, maybe even as producers, if you can write your own content, if you can write your own project, it empowers you, because everything starts with a good script. And if you cannot get a good writer to write the good script, then you can be stuck for years and then you give up. So I do not enjoy writing per se, but I'm always writing. I'm always writing, I'm always reading scripts. The only way to get better at writing is by writing. That's the only way. Yeah. So if you do not know anything about writing, I recommend that you read 1 or 2 very, very good books, and the Google will tell you what these books are. Read 1 or maybe 2, and there's no need to read the 3rd one, because they all say the same thing. So read 1 and then read 2, and then start writing your script. And then you will discover what you don't know by writing your script. And then you can go and revisit the books again. And the second best way is to read scripts. And there are a lot of all these famous movies, their scripts are on the internet.
The artists, they have a very distinct voice in their film.
Right. Yeah, so my simple answer to that is you got to make especially if it's your first film, you got to make the film you really want to make. So, and then as you evolve and as you develop, as you progress in your career, then maybe the balance shifts. You know, maybe you need more money to make a bigger film, and then in order for you to access the bigger money, you have to maybe be more socially responsible or politically correct. Then you decide if you want to go that way. If you decide if you want to strike that balance for yourself. But we just have to worry about our next film, and maybe in your case, it's your first film. So then you just, for your first and second film, especially your first film, you are showing you. So you're selling you. You're not really selling your film. So especially the first film, people say your first film has to be the perfect script, it has to be done well, otherwise you can never redeem yourself. I don't agree. I feel like the first film just has to be the film that you really want to make. Language is a big thing, because not only in the US, but all over the world, English language audiences do not like to read subtitles. So Chinese, a lot of East Asian audience, including mainland Chinese audience, are very okay with reading subtitles. In fact, they are very used to reading subtitles. I was very used to reading subtitles. When a film doesn't have subtitles, I feel a bit insecure before. Like, oh, I don't really know, are the characters really saying this? Like, I want to be 100% sure. But ever since I moved to America, I've been watching movies without subtitles, because when I go to the cinema, there's no subtitles, right? And now I don't really want to read subtitles anymore. So it is really like a habit. So it's really like the audience, like viewing habits. And unfortunately in North America, they don't like to read subtitles. I bet you a lot of American audience, for the first time, the first film with subtitles that they've ever watched was Parasite. To me, the harder thing is just not making a film. Like this path of filmmaking is really tough, but I always think that as long as, so I always think that not doing it is tougher than doing it. So doing it is so tough, right? It takes a toll on everything. It throws my life off balance when I was younger. But not doing it is even tougher. Like not doing it, knowing that I'm not going to do it again, I'm not going to do it anymore, it kills me. So that is tougher. So that's why I take the less tough route. But that's my personal opinion. So you find what drives you. You know, you find where different things drive different people. I nose dove into making a feature film without making a short film because I knew it was going to be tough. But I just didn't know how tough. I just didn't know it was going to be that tough. But I knew it was going to be tough, and I knew that the experience was going to bully me, and I'm not going to sit back feeling defeated, which means I'm going to make another film after that. So that's because I felt at that point in my life, that's the way I would react to things that's happening around me. And that's me knowing myself. Like, it may not work for you. So you find your best way to motivate yourself to go further.